What's up folks, it's 2bricks and I'm super excited to be sharing with you my latest collection of models. This is the Dragons collection, available now on brickerbuilds.com, so make sure you check them out if you want to either get the instructions to build these for yourself, or you can order the brick kits. And I have the genuine Lego bricks, 100% new and verified Lego bricks, be sent right to your door to be able to build these in a box, and you can go ahead and just make the kits yourself and not have to faff around with Bricklink or Brickowl or whatever it is that you use to get your Lego on the secondhand market. So yeah, super excited to share all of these with you today. I captured a little bit of time lapse of me building them, and I want to just kind of go through and talk about the features, talk a little bit about Bricker Builds and why I teamed up with them for this collection, and I'm just really excited to share them with you. So let's dive in and take a look at all three of these Dragon models. So as you're watching me build these really quick, I just wanted to share with you a little bit about Bricker Builds. They're a company that primarily focuses on making large life-size Lego sculptures, and occasionally they do branch out and do other things, and they reached out to me because they're really interested in my Dragons collection here. So for those of you who aren't aware, I was an animator for many years, and I mean I still am, I just don't work for any large companies currently, but I actually worked on the How to Train Your Dragon movies earlier on in my career. How to Train Your Dragon 3 was my first movie as a feature animator. And I was really inspired by the worlds of dragons and Vikings and taming dragons and all of that cool stuff. So that inspiration led me to create these three models that you see here, and I'm very, very excited about them. They're very vibrant, obviously, and each one has a very unique individual personality. And this is actually the first wave. I'm going to be doing a follow-up. There's going to be another 3 dragons coming soon. That's going to be in a sort of a second wave. But the reason that I teamed up with Bricker Builds is that I think they have a really cool company ethos, and I really like the mission that they're on, which is to bring a lot of their creativity and really awesome Lego models to market in a way where you can not only have the option to see how to build something with instructions, but you can actually get the kits themselves. I think that's something that is really, really lacking in the Lego space. And it's something that's really, really hard to do, and an expensive venture for anybody who's trying to do it, because it involves sourcing a lot of things in not the easiest ways. It's not like Lego sells bricks cheaply as if they're just a regular building material like any other. Lego makes it fairly difficult to source parts, actually. So companies that are putting in the effort to try to put together kits and things to sell people that are actually using genuine Lego bricks as opposed to relying on much easier third-party alternatives and stuff like that, I think it's a really cool thing, and I want to encourage more of that. And plus, I just think Bricker Builds makes really awesome stuff. So those are kind of the reasons why I teamed up with them. Their team has been really awesome, really fun to work with, super professional. Their designers are really talented and top-notch, and they actually made some really sensible tweaks to the models after I submitted the designs to take them to the next level and improve on a couple of stability issues and things like that. So I actually really had a great time working with Bricker Builds, and I was really excited for these to finally come to market, and they are now here. So I did request for them to send me a review copy so that I could share all of these with you. So technically speaking, this video is sponsored, I guess, because I was gifted these for free, but I did design them, so it's kind of a weird thing to say that it's sponsored when I design the models, but you get the idea. So yeah, let's take a look at each one of these and the features that comes with each model. So when you do get your kit in the mail, it arrives in a small nondescript box like this. Well, I say small, it depends on the size of the model, I suppose. And then inside of that is numbered bags. So each model is broken up by model and then by sub bags within that, which correspond to what's in the instructions. So that's really useful, especially if you're building a larger model. I'm sure that comes in really handy when you get into some of their several thousand piece kits. Obviously for the Dragons collection here, they're not as big of a model, and you could probably just dump all the bags out and be totally fine. But yeah, it's still nice that they go to the effort to do that. And then, so when you actually place the order, you have to obviously wait for the shipping, but they do provide the link to the instructions, so you can download those right away. If you're really excited and you're waiting for your model to arrive, you can just start looking at the instructions and get a little preview of what's in store. So that's very cool. And the instructions look very nice here. They're easy to follow. You can see they're outlined with yellow with each new step, and it's just a very simple process to follow those. I didn't have any major issues with viewing angles or anything like that, so it all made sense and it all flowed pretty well. It was interesting following somebody else's instructions for a model that I made, because it's always fun to see how somebody else would lay out the instructions and the steps, and it kind of lets you experience the model fresh, even though you're very familiar with it already. All right, and taking a look here, starting with the Night Dragon, so you can see we have a lot of beautiful detail all around, capturing all of the different angles and things that you'd expect to see for a dragon like this. He's got little posable limbs, and I'll show you those in a second. taken, and we have the posable wings of course here as well, mainly on clips and then with a ball joint attaching it to the body. So they're really nice and posable. I'll show you some of the poses you can get in a minute with that. We have the exclusive printed eye elements right here. So you can see here we have, those are printed onto cheese slope pieces. So there's 2 unique prints, one for either side. I really appreciate it, and the quality looks really nice, and the colors are really vibrant, and I really appreciate it. And I did use a variety of slopes and wedges to capture all of the different cool angles of this dragon, so that it has a really nice, you know, this sort of the wing cut pattern that you'd expect to see for a dragon like this, and then all of the little spines going down the back of the tail using clip pieces and different elements like the tooth parts back here. And yeah, I really tried to shape this up as smooth and aerodynamically as possible. And we have the nice tail back here with the fin that is sort of indicating the allegiance that this dragon has to their particular tribe of Vikings. And then this is actually also designed to accommodate for a minifigure. So I have a spot back here where a minifigure is able to sit. And then if you want them to actually stud down, you can actually just remove 2 elements back here. So these 2 parts of the sort of saddle area, you can remove those 1 and 2, and then a minifigure can stud down and be sitting behind the dragon's head as they're flying, which is something that I think is nice to be able to do, you know, have that interaction between minifigures and their dragon friends. So this is obviously how it comes with the stand by default, and it gives you that nice, you know, flying pose, the ability to get that really nice, elegant flying through the air pose. But let me just show you some of the poses it can do on the ground off the stand. So like I mentioned, the wings are attached in with a ball joint to the body, so you can get a really nice full range of motion for different flapping poses like that. And the wings are fairly light, so they hold their pose very well. Once you actually set them, the ball joint has enough friction to it to allow that to happen. They're also hinged in 2 different spots along the wings, so you can get a really nice full range of flap where it can go all the way down and around and really hug underneath the body. It can extend out very far like that, and you can really get the nice, I wanted to get that double curve there so you could really shape the wings in different ways to get to capture whatever kind of flight pose you really like. And then initially I did use a preset wing piece for this end portion of the wing right here in the initial design, and Bricker Builds requested that I switch that out because those parts are actually fairly hard to get a hold of. They're not actually common in that many sets, and it would drive the cost up. So, you know, Bricker Builds are always attempting to keep costs as low as they can be. So they requested that I see if it would be possible to come up with a brick built solution for this end portion of the wing, but keep the shape roughly the same. So this is the solution that I came up with, and I'm pretty happy with how it looks. I think it actually is, you know, nice and consistent through the wing here to have the different wedge plates just kind of continue down and keep that consistent look throughout. So yeah, I'm happy with that. And then the tail here is on a ball joint as well. So you have that ability to, you know, move it up and down and rotate it all around. And then each of the tail segments is also ball jointed. And then at the end here, we have a clip that is connected into a bar here. And then you can also move this from side to side because it's one of those rounded bar pieces that connects in the tail. So really full, excellent range of motion for the tail as well. You can really have it swiping from side to side. You can have it in pretty much any kind of, you know, flight pose that you would like to support the motion of what you're going for with your pose there, or you can bring it all the way up. You could even, like, you know, be swatting at something right above if that's what you want to do. And so yeah, I'm really happy with that. And then the actual end part here has the angling fins as well, so those can go either up or down depending on how you like it to be. It really does support a really wide range of really cool dynamic poses as well. And then each of the legs here, they do have a part in the middle where they actually can hinge from. So I'm using these rounded 1x1 bricks in here to be able to achieve that angle where they can fully move from the actual pivot around from the center of the chest there in and out, so you can get a really close in pose with the front legs like so, where the feet can come all the way together, or you can go all the way out to the edge like this, and then you can really splay those front legs out, and then you can also angle them in from the shoulder joint, because that is again using one of those rounded bar pieces right there. So that really huge range of poses you can get from these legs. And then I'm just using the simple, you know, plate down here with the 3-tooth design on it to capture the toes of the dragon. And then yeah, once you get everything set, it likes to just stay in the pose very nicely. So it's actually a joy to come up with different poses for this and then just leave it in that new pose. Looking at the head, so we have the neck that can rotate up from the body like so, and then obviously the head as well. That's the only range of motion there. I really wanted to try to capture more different angles, like being able to swivel the head in different directions and stuff, but the actual proportions of the head of what I was trying to capture here was a difficult thing to be able to do and still have that full range of motion. So I opted to just have it be able to go, up and down like this. And I think you can really get a nice range, especially with the ears coming in to help. So you can be very quizzical with the ears up. Let me just move the wings out of the way a little bit. So yeah, you can see there, wings up, or ears up and head up, very, very curious. And then you can put the ears down flat, and you can kind of come down more into sort of more of an aggressive hunting pose, or maybe more of like a sad pose like that. I'm using these angled wedged tiles here to capture the look of the eyebrows, to give it a little bit of eyebrow beefiness right above the eyes. And then we have just a smoothed off mouth underneath here, which, can't open or anything, but we get all the little details in here with the little ear nubs and the little kind of things that you want to see back here like that. So yeah, really, really like how all of that turned out. And then, like I said, with the ears, you can pose those so side to side like that, and you can get a different look like that, or you can make them come really close together as well as being able to go up and down. So yeah, lots and lots of freedom for posing with this. So you can see here just a few of the different poses that you can achieve with this dragon. And of course, once you're happy with your different poses and you've had your fun, then you can place it back on the stand and get a really nice flying pose for putting on your shelf, just like this. And I'm just super happy with how that looks. So yeah, really, really happy with how the Night Dragon turned out. And hopefully you guys have a great time building it as well, because it was really, really fun. Next up, we have the Spiny Dragon, and man, this one was so fun to design. The bright color scheme, the kind of cool dinosaur look for the head there. It's almost like a Triceratops meets an alligator or something like that. It's got like the horns and all of the different spikes, and the tail spikes and the stripes and the colors for the tail. So this one was really, really, really fun to design, even down to like the chicken feet were really, really fun and interesting to design. And being able to make sure that this could actually stand as well and not just be in a flying pose on the stand was really, really challenging and fun in the best possible way. A couple of the changes that Bricker Builds made, they actually doubled up on the ball joints for the wings to give it a little bit of extra stability, and that's totally the right call because these wings are heavier than the Night Dragon one. So that was a cool call. And then yeah, just being able to use all existing Lego parts, like the eye is a pre-existing Lego printed eye element, so that keeps the cost fairly low, as opposed to having to print something special for the Night Dragon to get the look just right. And the colors really, really pop, especially on a shelf. It looks absolutely awesome. So let me take this off the stand and we'll show you some of the poses you can get with this one. So the Spiny Dragon is able to stand in a very convincing and interesting and sort of dynamic way, where it really looks like she's walking, and I really love that. That was something, again, that I really had to strive to get that just right. We have the ball jointed head, so that can swivel and tilt and go in various different directions right there. It's up and down. And then the neck itself also is on ball joints here, and then at the bottom there's a double ball joint to keep that nice and steady, because again, the head is heavy and it's out pretty far on this neck here. So yeah, the main sort of intended pose is this sort of nice curved up look, and then the head can sort of bobble around and look at prey or whatever the dragon may be hunting. So then we come back here to the wings, so strictly up and down for the main joint of the wing here, because it's got the double ball joints, and then here we have single ball joints at this middle point here, so that's where you can get a lot of the dynamism for the wing poses. You can really tilt those back and up, swivel them down, and really get different interesting and dynamic ways of posing those wings. So technically you could go all the way around with these because they're on a ball joint. They can swivel 360, so that's really cool. And then the end of the wingtips here is again just done with a single axis of movement here with the clip and bar connections. And that was something where, again, there was this pre-existing orange wing portion that I used here, and that was only available in, I think, one set or maybe two sets ever, and they're really difficult to get a hold of on the secondary market. So once again, for the sake of consumers to be able to more easily gather the parts, I replaced that with a brick built solution. And again, I'm really happy with how it actually turned out. I think it looks even better than what it initially did with the pre-molded part. And then we have the nice spiky tail in here, ball joints all the way down, so really, really flexible, so you can get that kind of scorpion tail coming up and around. You can swivel the spike part around so it looks really menacing and coming up towards the front there, or you can just use it in the way that it's intended, where you can have the sort of flow of the build is intended to go kind of down and out, so the nice kind of shape of that tail, that's how I kind of envisioned it. But yeah, you can get a lot of different poses with this, and it's really, really versatile. So yeah, I'm super thrilled with how this one came out. The color scheme being able to stay mostly consistent was really nice, especially with being able to mainly use the medium azure color here, which is one of my favorite colors in the Lego palette, and then just mixing in a little bit of blue for texture, and then even a little bit of the turquoise color in here. for a little bit of surface texture. And then the way that the orange wings with the blue detailing for the scales and stuff pops, it just looks absolutely gorgeous, and I'm so happy with how it looks. And oh, and I did forget to mention, you can actually individually angle all of these horns to your liking as well. And then even with these ones on the top here, you can angle those out to the side, so you can really get specific with how you like for that look to be. And you know, however you think it looks best, you can achieve a really good pose with it. And yeah, just the look in here with the teeth, especially, and the way that it can swivel its head is just, she's a really beautiful dragon. And then yeah, if you want to have sort of more of a down sort of a hunting, or maybe oops, I detached the I detached the wings really quick. There you go. So yeah, if you want to have that more of a sort of down hunting pose like this, you can do that. You might have to support, she's got the long tail there, but you might have to support that by angling the wings back. And maybe the head has to actually touch the ground, but she can get real low. And then also she can go into more of an upright stance like this. And again, you can sort of use the tail to help balance like so. And you can get more of an upright stance like this. And then yeah, you can really get some fun, goofy poses too, like this right here. So I think, you know, you're really gonna have fun playing with this as a toy first and foremost, and then put it on display when you're done messing around, and it looks really gorgeous. And then if you do want to seat a minifigure back here in the seat, that is of course doable, and you get 2 studs down here for the character's legs to stud into, and then a nice little seat back here with an actual like proper like seating arrangement. So that's really cool, unlike the more saddle harness look for the Night Dragon. This is more of an actual traditional chair that you can place your fig in. And so the Viking warrior who rides on this dragon will be riding in style. So there you go. And yeah, there you go. She is back on the stand, and I think she looks absolutely stunning. And I did want to mention the stands are very simple, and they literally just stud into the bottom of the dragons on all 3. So really easy to take those on and off. And the clear stand with the 1x5, 1x2x5 brick here, I think it looks really nice in the trans clear, and gives a nice sort of a low profile stand with a nice, you know, non-distracting sort of way of displaying the dragon. So yeah, super thrilled with this one. So let's take a look at the Boulder Dragon next. All right, and here you have the Boulder Dragon, and this one was again so fun to design because it's just so different than the others. This is obviously a very rocky inspired dragon, and has the nice sort of studded texture all around. And I'm relying once again on the same printed eye parts here that I used for the Spiny Dragon, and I think those look absolutely great here. And then we have the little antennas coming off of the back, and the big, you know, that big underbite jaw with the protruding teeth, I think looks so fun there. And then I use a clip piece to get the smaller teeth towards the back. And again, we have a little, it's almost like a little lazy boy kind of a couch recliner on top of here for the seating arrangement for the minifigure. So yeah, your figure can definitely have a lot of fun riding around on this one. And we have the big sort of battering ram boulder tail here that's on ball joints as well. So you can angle that up like so, and you can get kind of a little bit of a, you know, swooshing motion with the tail there, so you can slightly angle it to the side, but really it's intended mainly to go up and down, a little bit of side to side with the club end of the tail there. So there's that. I mainly just kind of angle it down like this and just keep it in that general sort of drooping pose because it's sort of a heavy looking tail. And then we do have the individual little feet here, so those can go up and down like so, and they're designed to swivel around the elbow and then also the ankle. So you can get, again, a fair amount of expressiveness, even though they can only rotate in one axis. You can actually get quite a bit of life out of it. So you can have it in more of a standing pose, and we'll take this off here. So you can see the dragon stands up absolutely fine. And then you could also have it in sort of a crouched or like a bow kind of a pose like that, or like sleeping like so. And it's very easy to pose it like that because of the way that the legs are designed, and just the very stocky body makes it really easy to be able to pose that. The wings can also pose up and down, so you can get a really nice kind of like oh, sad, you know, begging for food. Yeah, feed me, I'm hungry kind of a pose. And then you can get the wings up, and then they also rotate from side to side, so you can kind of have that, you can have a really nice sort of a flittering look where you can sort of imagine these sort of like little fairy wings. It's almost like a bumblebee, right? Little teeny tiny wings, and you can have them kind of going all around in different ways where it can swivel and it can move up and down like this. So get a really nice feeling for the flight motion for these wings out of the different poses that you can get on that. And I did use, these are more common. These have come in several sets, so they're actually a lot more easy to get a hold of than the other wing elements I had previously used for the other 2 dragons. So we were able to move forward with those on this model, and I think it really works. It's like the perfect piece to capture the kind of look for the wings that I want to get, these little kind of hummingbird wings for this big old bulky dragon. And then you can just take a look here at the underside. Whoops, I did actually lose a plate that was left on the stand. So this is meant to be right here. So then the nice kind of chunky body. And then we're using a couple of bars connected into Technic half pins with the studs, the hollow studs there, and then those connect further into the legs. And so the legs are actually fairly stable, and you probably won't have too many issues with them like popping loose. So then you can have your dragon walking absolutely no problem there. So, and standing, you know, up on tippy toes, and it looks really great. So yeah, really happy with this one. And I think just the cartoony look, the way that the facial features are captured here, and the little kind of stubby nose, it's just a friendly looking little rock monster dragon, and I'm so happy with it. So yeah, there's the Boulder Dragon, and really pleased with it, as I am with all these. And there's the trio back together again. So hopefully you guys got a kick out of taking a look at these dragons and the little features that they have and the poses that you can get out of them. I guess, you know, the animator in me really had a lot of fun designing models that could really be posed, and that was a slightly different challenge to my usual design challenges of just matching the aesthetics to a certain shape on a given spaceship. So that, yeah, this was a really fun kind of breakaway from that, and I really had fun doing it, and I'm probably gonna have even more fun doing the other 3 that are coming in the lineup soon. So yeah, stay tuned for more news about those in the coming months. And yeah, I'm just really grateful to Bricker Builds for taking an interest in the designs and for wanting to distribute them and taking a little bit of a different direction from some of the things that they usually do as part of their overall catalog. But as you can see, they really have beautiful models, and like I said, the design team is top notch, and I've actually gotten to see quite a few of the upcoming models that they have. So I'm actually, you know, in the Bricker Builds community now, and I can see some of the things that they have coming up, and they have some really beautiful stuff coming out. So really excited for the future of Bricker Builds and for our continuing relationship, and hopefully there's gonna be a lot more stuff coming in the future. We'll just have to see how that goes. But for now, I'm just so excited to have these 3 models out, and for you to be able to not only get the instructions and get the parts for yourself, but also to get the brick kits as well. So one question that I've seen pop up over and over again when anything concerning Bricker Builds comes up is, why are they so expensive? And that's referring specifically to the brick kits. And the thing that you have to understand is Lego doesn't make it easy to source official Lego parts, especially not brand new ones. So if you're relying on Bricklink and Pick a Brick and various different sources to get your bricks, it is tricky. It is a lot of work, and somebody has to manually verify and package all of these. The actual individual bagging, you know, is done by a human. The parts lists are verified, and then the parts themselves are checked to make sure that you don't have any missing parts. And I did not have any missing parts in my order here. I actually had a few extra parts too, which was cool to see. And then the graphic design work that goes into the actual instructions, they're paying their designers, which a lot of companies don't do. They simply rip off other fan designers' mocks that already exist, or they'll take an existing mock and just tweak a few parts on it so that it's technically different, and they'll just redistribute it as their own design. So Bricker Builds are a very ethical company in the sense that they are working with designers who are very talented, that are actually designing things for them to distribute, and are working in a really vibrant and supportive design community with a lot of people, you know, working together and helping to iterate models and improve on the models and stuff so that you get the absolute best experience out of the end product. So super cool. I really like this company, and I'm hoping that they take off in a really big way, especially with, like I said, some of the cool stuff that they're working on. I think they're gonna have a really big year next year, so very excited for that. So do check out their socials and stuff, give them a follow, and check out the website brickerbuilds.com, of course, link down in the description, and you can check out these models for yourself, as well as many other ones. This has been a really fun one. Thank you so much to Bricker Builds for sending these over for me to be able to share it with all of the community. You know, I could order the parts myself, and I already have, to be able to do the test build that I did initially. So it was really nice of them to be able to send over a kit so that I could show you how the kits actually look, the packaging and all of that stuff, and to give you a sense of, and especially also with the printed eye elements here, which I just absolutely adore. So it was really nice of them to be able to facilitate that for me to share with you. So thanks to Bricker Builds for that. So I'm going to get to work on the next video. I did say that I wasn't going to release any videos in December, but I'm just going to go ahead and keep releasing them, I guess. So we'll see what the next one's going to be. But I'm also taking time to renovate my design space and my shooting area, and I'm having a lot of fun, doing really cool stuff. So there'll be a room tour video in the not too distant future once all that is done. I'll be showing you my brand new sorting system and all of that stuff. And I'm going to be renewing patron perks by designing Star Wars ships that go with all of the character avatars that I created for my patrons. So that's going to be really fun. So 2026 is going to be a great year all around. I think 2bricks here, we're doing a lot of crazy stuff, and I can't talk about all of it, but I'm very excited to share all of the stuff that's coming up with you guys. So yeah, 2026 is going to be great. And if this does end up being the last video of the year, thank you so much for making 2025 awesome. It really has been a great year, and I'm just super excited to keep moving forward. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.